Hello friends, today we are going to do influence line diagram for simply supported beam carrying UDL smaller than the length. That is when the UDL is smaller than the span of the beam. So here AB is a simply supported beam of span L which is carrying a UDL of length y and intensity w per unit length. Here there are two terminologies, that is head and the tail of the load. Here C is called the tail of the load and D is called the head of the load. Okay, simple terminologies, that is head or and the tail. We call D as the head of the load, that is when the load is traveling from left to the right, that is from A to B. That time D is the head of the load. Okay, and I'm assuming that the load is traveling from the left section to the right section of the girder. Now the tail of the load is placed at a distance x from A support. So the distances are as follows: x, y and L minus x minus y. Okay. Now next let us calculate the influence line diagram for the reactions, next for the shear forces and next for the bending movement. Now let us first calculate the influence line diagram for RA. Now the influence line diagrams, to have that, draw the influence line diagram for reaction RA and mark the values of ordinate corresponding to sections C and D. So this is the influence line diagram for RA. Okay, so you have C and D, that is on a distance of y your UDL is spread out. So I have to calculate the ordinate values at C and D using the similar triangles. By using the similar triangles you can have the influence line diagram ordinates at C and D, that is on this distance you are having the UDL of intensity W. So I have to calculate this area only. Okay, so reaction RA is calculated how? Load multiplied by area of influence line diagram under CD portion. Okay, this area is taken only for the UDL values. Okay, whenever you are having an UDL, that time we will be considering the area of the under whatever that spread out region is there of the UDL. So the load is W and the area of this part is half and multiplied with its ordinates, that is ordinate at C and ordinate at D. Okay, so half base is y and we have to, and the summation of the ordinates at C and D. Once you have that and once we simplify it, I'll be getting the reaction as RA is equals to W into y divided by 2 into 2 times L minus 2 times x minus y divided by L. This is for RA. Similarly, we have to do even for RB. That is, draw the influence line diagram for RB and draw the ordinate values at C and D. Once you have the ordinate values at C and D using your similar triangles, we can calculate now reaction at RB. That is nothing but reaction RB will be equal to area multiplied, will be equal to load into multiplied by the area under CD portion, that is equals to RB into W half base into the summation of the ordinates at C and ordinates at D. Once you have that and after doing the simplification you will be getting this equation, that is W multiplied by y divided by 2 into 2x plus y divided by L. This is for reaction RB. Now let us calculate maximum reactions, that is when the load is completely at A and when the load is at B, exactly at B. In the previous we calculated when it was somewhere in between the section. Now when do we get maximum reactions? We get maximum reaction at A when the tail of the load is at A, that is when C is at A. And when we do get the maximum reaction at B, when the head of the load is at B. So rearranging the diagram given to us, when if I draw the C point, that is the tail point at A, I'll be getting the diagram as this. That time this is the distance, C is exactly at A. This is the distance over which the UDL is spread out. The remaining distance will be span minus y. So once you have this, I have to draw influence line diagram for reaction RA, that is a triangle. Then calculate the ordinates at C and the ordinate at D. Since C is at A, the always at A will be having the maximum ordinate, and that is 1. So at D we can calculate using your similar triangles. Now RA max can be calculated how? Load multiplied by the area under the UDL, that is area under this UDL. Okay, here under this UDL, that is half base into the summation of ordinates. Okay, so this is ordinate of C, this is ordinate of D. After having these values, okay, this will, you will be getting it as RA max. Next, if I want to calculate RB max, if I want RB max, the head of the load should be on B. The head of the load should be on B. If I redraw the diagram for RB max, I'll be getting the head, that is D, on B. Then Y is the distance over which the load is spread out, and the remaining distance will be L minus Y, where L is nothing but span of the beam. Next, if I draw the influence line diagram, this is the influence line diagram for RB. The ordinate at B is 1, that is nothing but the ordinate for D, and the ordinate at C can be calculated using your influence line diagrams. So therefore RB max is equals to what? Load multiplied by the influence line diagram ordinates. Now since it is an UDL, so it is area under the UDL, area of this portion, that is half base into ordinate of C and ordinate of D. This you will be getting as RB max. Okay, next is to calculate the shear force. Now in this we are having two types of shear forces, that is maximum negative shear force, okay, and maximum positive shear force. And in this also you are having maximum absolute shear force. Now maximum absolute shear force is when the head of the load is at B point, that is your RB. When it is at RB, you will be getting maximum positive shear force, and when the tail of the load is at A, you will be getting maximum negative shear force, that is nothing but your RAs and RBs. Okay, now next let us calculate maximum negative shear force. Now there is a theory part. Maximum negative shear force occurs when the UDL head is at C. Okay, now how do we calculate this? Draw the influence line diagram for shear force when the UDL head is at C and mark the values of the ordinates corresponding to the section. Now let us see when the head of the UDL is at C. When the head of the UDL is at C. CD are two sections for which we are going to calculate the values of shear forces, okay, at C and D. Now A is the portion where, or you can say at a distance A, our first point C is placed, and next B is nothing but L minus A, that is the overall span minus A. So the influence line diagram, one small thing, now the load is in AC section. When the load is in AC section, we'll be having the shear force, that is minus RB. So you have to draw the negative RB influence line diagram. Now once you have the negative influence line diagram for RB, so you will be having this influence line diagram been drawn, that is 0 at A and 1 at B, and this is negative in nature. Now we are calculating shear force at C point, therefore calculate the ordinate value at C using the similar triangles. Now shear force, that is a maximum negative shear force at C, is nothing but load multiplied by the area under UDL. So UDL, we are having load in AC section, so our load, you have to multiply the load with this area, so you will be getting the equation as WA square divided by 2L. Next I have to calculate maximum positive shear force. Now the maximum positive shear force occurs when the head of the load is at D, that is head of the load, this is head of the load is at D. Okay, now let us draw the influence line diagram for positive shear force, that is nothing but our RA, where at A you are having maximum ordinate as 1 and at B you will be having as 0. So this is the influence line diagram for positive shear force at D. Now these are the ordinates at D and this is the ordinate at B. You can calculate this using your similar triangles. Okay. Maximum positive shear force at A is given by what? Load multiplied by the area under the UDL. Okay. Now how do we calculate the area under the UDL? Half base into the summation of the ordinates at C and D. So the equation is what? How we will be getting? Load multiplied by half base into summation of the UDLs at C and D. So this is the ordinate at C, this is the ordinate at D. So this is your equation for positive shear force. Now next let us calculate for maximum bending moment. Now to get the maximum bending moment, we have to calculate the CG of the UDL. It should intersect with the point in which the section divides the load in the same ratio, that is maximum bending moment occurs when the load is placed in such a way that the section divides the load in the same ratio as it divides the span. For that we do the calculation as follows. Now say suppose the same simply supported beam AB, which is having length L, here we are having UDL and we are calculating the maximum bending moment at point C. We are just assuming at point C we are going to have the maximum bending movement. Now that point C is at a distance A from support A and L minus A from support B. Now this C point, now the UDL is spread out over a distance of D. Here the distance on which the UDL is spread out is D, and that now the tail of the UDL from point C is at a distance x. The tail of the UDL is at a distance x from point C. Now for this, if I draw the influence line diagram of bending moment, it will be somewhat like this. This is the bending moment or for influence line diagram at C. At C you are having the maximum ordinate, that is AB divided by L, and I will name that ordinate as ZC. For the tail I will name it as Z1. For the head I will name it as Z2. Okay. Now let us do the calculation part, how exactly this x distance is calculated. Now maximum bending moment will develop at C when the load is partially on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. Okay, you will be getting maximum load. Even you might have seen in a bending moment and shear force diagrams, whenever you are doing with the UDL, you get maximum bending moment when it is completely on the whole span at the exactly at the center. When it is at the center, when the load is distributed on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. Now let us find out the position of that section where it has to be, where we get the maximum value, that is this x value. This x value, at what distance it should be placed from A. Okay, movement at C is given by what? Load. Here using your influence line diagram, if I want to, I'll calculate movement at C. Okay, movement at C point here. So what will be that? Load multiplied by the area under this UDL. Okay, so let me calculate first for the left, this section, and then for this section. I am dividing this area into the left side. I'll name it as 1 and I'll name this as 2. So the equation will be what? X divided by 2 into Z1 plus Z2 plus load into D minus X divided by 2, that is half base. Here base is X. Let me go to the diagram. Here the base is X. From here to here this base is X. So half base into Z1 plus Z2 plus this portion, that is load into area of this portion, that is half base is what now? From here this total distance is D and this distance is X. So this will be D minus X. So that is what I have written in this equation. Load multiplied by area of the portion, that is 1. This is portion number 1 and this is portion number 2. That is Z1 plus Z2 and here it will be ZC plus Z2. Z1 plus ZC for portion number 1 and for portion number 2 it will be ZC plus Z2. Okay. Now for maxima and from your minima calculations of differentiation, to get the maximum value, the differentiation of movement at C should be equal to 0. So equate this equation equal to 0. When I equate and do the simplification, I will get Z1 equals to Z2. What is the meaning of this? Thus, movement at C will be maximum when the ordinates of influence line diagram for movement at C at the head and the tail will be equal. That is, the load is distributed equally on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. In simple words, when will be the ordinates equal? When the load is distributed equally on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. That is when Z1 will be equal to, this is by using your similar triangles I have drawn. Okay, Z1 and Z2. Okay, now once we have got Z1 is equals to Z2, I have to calculate what is the value of Z1 and what is the value of Z2 using my similar triangles from this part of the diagram. Now from this part of the diagram I will get Z1 divided by A minus X is equals to ZC divided by A. Similarly for Z2 it will be what? ZC divided by L minus A is equals to Z2 divided by L minus A minus D minus X, that is this distance. This distance already, this is from here to here it is L minus A. From this L minus A I have to minus this distance. How much is this distance? D minus X. Therefore I will be getting this distance as, the remaining distance as L minus A, that is L minus A minus D minus X. So that is what I have written over here. Okay, Z1 is equals to this value and Z2 is equals to this. Okay, now as I know the value of Z1 should be equal to Z2, let me equate the ordinates of Z1 and Z2. Once I equate the ordinates of Z1 and Z2, after doing the simplification I will get the answer as X multiplied by L is equals to A divided by, A into D. That is, if I do the cross multiplication, I'll get X divided by D is equals to A divided by L. What is the meaning of this ratio? X and D are related with the UDL parameters, whereas A and L are the parameters dealing with the span. X and D are the parameters dealing with the load, and A and L are dealing with the parameters of the span. So that what does this ratio tell us is bending moment is maximum when the load is so placed that the section divides the load in the same ratio as it divides the span. Now this is useful when we are calculating the maximum bending movement in your problems. That time you will be getting in more clear. Okay. Now let us calculate next position for absolute maximum bending movement. Absolute bending moment is when the midpoint of your load is exactly on the midpoint of the span. That is, ZC is maximum. That is when ZC is equals to AB divided by L, where B is nothing but L minus A divided by L. Now differentiate this ZC with respect to A. If I differentiate with respect to A, I will get it as L minus 2A is equals to 0. That is nothing but A is equals to L divided by 2. I told you previously, when say suppose this is your beam, this is the midpoint of the span and this is your UDL. When the CG of the UDL intersects with the CG of the span, you will be getting maximum absolute bending movement, and that occurs when A is equals to L divided by 2 and B is equals to L divided by 2. From this you will be getting absolute maximum bending movement. That is, absolute maximum bending moment occurs at midspan. The position of the load is to be in such that the section divides the load in the same ratio as it divides the span, which means, in simple meaning, it is CG of the load will be intersecting the midspan of the given beam. In simple words, CG of the load should be intersecting the midspan value. Okay. So in this class we came across reactions, shear forces, maximum shear force for positive value, maximum shear force for negative value, bending moment, absolute maximum bending moment. Okay. Thank you.